Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today it's going to be a pretty simple one, and we're just going to talk about the Oscar nominations that were released last week. If you could hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, that would be great and really helpful to the channel. Hopefully this will be a pretty simple and fun video to talk about. I find discussing the Oscars to be somewhat interesting. I know not everyone cares, but as someone who is very much into film, I very much do care, and I like to see who ends up with the awards. So the first category we have up is actor in a leading role. We have Bradley Cooper, Coleman Domingo, Paul Giamatti, Cillian Murphy, and Jeffrey Wright. For the most part, I don't have any issues with this list of nominees, though I will say Bradley Cooper is not one that I would have nominated. It very much feels like he's trying as hard to win an Oscar as possible, making his performance feel much less authentic than it should. Coleman Domingo, I have not seen Rustin, so I can't really give my thoughts on that. Paul Giamatti is amazing in The Holdovers. Cillian Murphy, I think, will win, and he should win. From what I understand about the awards circle right now, it's becoming a two-horse race between Paul Giamatti and Cillian Murphy. I think Cillian Murphy should win. I think it's the stronger performance in a stronger movie, and without that performance, the movie isn't as strong as it is. Oppenheimer will likely sweep a lot this year, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. Again, another film I have not seen. I've heard he's excellent in it, though. I do want to see this movie. I just haven't had the time to yet. Next is Best Supporting Actor, also known as the Robert Downey Jr. Award for this year, because he's winning it. Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction. Again, can't really comment on this one. I haven't seen the film. Robert De Niro is amazing in Killers of the Flower Moon. Speaking of that movie, it's interesting that Leo wasn't nominated for Killers of the Flower Moon. He's amazing in that film. But I also understand that they want to hype up a different actor for that movie, which makes a lot of sense. Robert Downey Jr., who is going to win this award, he's magnificent in Oppenheimer. Ryan Gosling in Barbie, a bizarre choice for a Best Supporting Actor role, but he is pretty good in that movie. And Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things, another movie I have not seen, but do plan on seeing at some point, and I've heard nothing but good things about Mark Ruffalo's performance. Next is Best Actress. There's been a big hubbub about Margot Robbie not being nominated. For the most part, I don't have an issue with her not being nominated. But judging from people's opinions on Naiad, it is a bit strange that Annette Bening got in here rather than Margot Robbie. But again, I don't really have an issue with Margot Robbie not being in this category. I didn't think her performance was necessarily Oscar-worthy. I thought she was great in the movie, but not necessarily one that I would think of when it comes to awards season. But for this category, we have Annette Bening in Naiad, a movie I have not seen. Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, who is, as of right now, tied for the front runner of this category. Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, which honestly might be my personal pick for who I think should win. I think she's incredible in that movie. Carey Mulligan in Maestro, in my opinion, the significantly better performance in Maestro. Have no issue with that. Emma Stone for Poor Things. Yet again, I have not seen Poor Things, so I can't comment on this performance, but I've heard that it is pretty much a fearless performance and is sort of the two-horse race between Lily Gladstone and Emma Stone for this award. I would love to see Lily Gladstone win. That's just me. Next is Best Supporting Actress. We have Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple, America Ferrera in Barbie, Jodie Foster in Naiad, and Davine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. This is the Davine Joy Randolph Award. She's winning it. There is pretty much no debate. Emily Blunt, when I first saw Oppenheimer, I wouldn't have thought to nominate her, but the more I watched the movie, which I've seen it a few times now, there's a lot to that performance, even though she's not in the movie all that much. Like, she's really fantastic in that film. Danielle Brooks, I have not seen The Color Purple. Again, heard nothing but great things. America Ferrera being here is certainly a strange pick for Best Supporting Actress. I would have preferred to have seen someone like Rachel McAdams for Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I thought she was amazing in that film. More of a standout than I think America Ferrera is. But it is a great achievement for her career. She hasn't been nominated, I don't believe. Jodie Foster and Naiad. Again, can't say anything about this movie. Haven't seen it. Based on all of the awards buzz and the performance itself, Davine Joy Randolph is winning this. It's like with Robert Downey Jr. and Oppenheimer. It's their award this year. There really isn't much of a competition. Best Animated Feature Film. We have The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I have only seen 2 of these, which is Elemental and Across the Spider-Verse. For my money, Across the Spider-Verse wins this in its sleep. There is a chance I think that The Boy and the Heron can win, because it is a Ghibli film and it is well beloved. But I think Across the Spider-Verse will take this, and I will have more opinions on Across the Spider-Verse in a bit. The next category, which is cinematography. Now, I have not heard of El Conde, so again, I can't really comment on this one. Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. This is probably going to be between Oppenheimer and Poor Things. My pick is Oppenheimer for Hoyt van Hoytema. That movie is just stunning. The way that it uses the IMAX film and black and white is unique, and it's very gorgeous to look at. But from the things I have seen and heard about Poor Things, it has a very unique visual style to it, like with fisheye lenses and some very interesting production design that could lend a hand, and I could see it winning this, even if I would prefer Oppenheimer to win. Next is costume design, and to be honest, this could be any one of these. These are all great nominees, even though I haven't seen Napoleon or Poor Things. Judging from the trailers and buzz around, they have terrific costume design and is part of the appeal of these films. But we have Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. There is a very good chance this could go to Barbie. Oppenheimer could also win it. Same thing with Poor Things. Again, I don't really have much of a opinion on this. It could go to any of these, and I wouldn't have an issue. Best Directing, also known as the Christopher Nolan Award for this year, because he's winning it. Again, I don't have any issues with any of these nominees here. I think they're all deserving to be here. Again, similar to the Margot Robbie backlash of her not being nominated, Greta Gerwig is not being nominated, which I do find it interesting that Jonathan Glazer for Zone of Interest was nominated over Greta Gerwig. But again, I've heard great things about Zone of Interest, and its direction is supposedly phenomenal, so I can't have an issue with that. I love seeing Justine Triet here for Anatomy of a Fall. It was one of my favorite movies last year. Killers of the Flower Moon definitely deserves to be here. Christopher Nolan is gonna win for Oppenheimer. It's pretty much a guaranteed thing, I think, at this point. And Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things. Again, heard great things. I've seen a few of his movies. He makes some very bizarre films with some very interesting direction too. Next category is documentary feature film and short film. To be honest, I'm just gonna skip over these because I have very little interest and I have seen none of these, so I don't want to say anything stupid over them. Film editing: Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. This is probably another Oppenheimer award. One of the first things I noticed when watching it was how excellent the editing was. It really keeps the pace of the film going, and that movie honestly works as well as it does because of its editing, along with its direction and performances. Without the type of editing the film has, it doesn't work quite as well. International feature film is an interesting one this year because for some reason France did not submit Anatomy of a Fall, and they submitted a different movie which wasn't even nominated. Yet Anatomy of a Fall was nominated for Best Picture. So they kind of lost out on a Give Me award. And Japan put in Perfect Days instead of Godzilla Minus One, which is interesting. I have not heard of Perfect Days, to be honest, either. Lo Capitino, or Io Capitino, I don't know if that's an I or an L, judging from, it's probably an I. Perfect Days from Japan, Society of the Snow from Spain, Teacher's Allowance from Germany, and Zone of Interest for United Kingdom. This is going to go to Zone of Interest. It's kind of how this works with the international film features for the Oscars. When one of them is nominated for Best Picture, it's going to win this award. Why would Society of the Snow, even though it's a great movie, win when it's not nominated for Best Picture, but Zone of Interest is? It's a pretty simple one to take away from. We have makeup and hairstyling. Again, I could see this one going to a bunch of movies here, but I am surprised to see Barbie not be here. We have Golda, which, to be honest, I have never heard of, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow. I could see this going to any of these, however, I would prefer for it to not go to Maestro, because I don't really think it's that deserving of the awards it's nominated for. I could see it going to Oppenheimer, Poor Things, or Society of the Snow. I don't really have any issue with whatever they're going to win. It's probably going to go to Oppenheimer because it's probably going to sweep everything or most of the awards. But again, I don't have an issue with any of these winning. Best Music Original Score. We have American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. So, why is Across the Spider-Verse not here, Academy? I don't know. That movie has an incredible score, and I don't know why it's here. Killers of the Flower Moon's an amazing movie. I couldn't tell you a single note of the score in that film. Poor Things, I have not heard the score, so I can't comment on that one. Same with American Fiction. Dial of Destiny is kind of a whatever being here. It has a good score, but I don't remember much of it. This is going to Oppenheimer. Ludwig Göransson is winning this. That's really all I have to say with this one. Best Original Song. I don't really have a horse in this race. They're all pretty good. That's what I have to say. We have Fire Inside, I'm Just Ken, which is hilarious that it's in here. Like, it's a meme song that's nominated for the Oscars. That's great. It Never Went Away. I'm not going to pronounce that because I'm going to butcher it. A Song for My People for Killers of the Flower Moon. And What Was I Made For Barbie, which that one's probably going to win, but we'll see. I'm going to skip Best Picture for now and go to Production Design. Again, I could see this going to any of these, but this one will probably go to Barbie. The production of Barbie Land in that film is pretty immaculate, I will say. Killers of the Flower Moon also has another terrific production design. Napoleon and Poor Things I can't really comment on because I have not seen them. And Oppenheimer obviously has terrific production design. They built a town, pretty much. So this will probably go to Barbie, but I could also see it going to Oppenheimer. I'm going to skip animated short film and live action short film because I have not seen any of them. Best Sound. The Creator, Maestro, Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, and The Zone of Interest. I love seeing Dead Reckoning in here. This year, Mission Impossible finally broke the curse of never being nominated for an Oscar with 2 for Dead Reckoning. How Fallout didn't get any nominations for anything is beyond me, but I love seeing Dead Reckoning in here. I would love to see it win, but it will definitely go to Oppenheimer. The sound in that movie is so effective, especially in theaters, especially in IMAX. Best Visual Effects, The Creator, Godzilla Minus One, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Dead Reckoning Part 1, and Napoleon. Love seeing The Creator here, love seeing Godzilla Minus One here, and I love seeing Dead Reckoning here. However, as much as I love seeing Godzilla Minus One here, it really should not be here. While it is insanely impressive for $15 million, there are other movies this year that had better visual effects. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 I think should win this. That movie is stunning to look at. Again, I would love to see Mission Impossible win. It was my favorite movie of 2023, but my bet is it goes to The Creator. That's just my guess. Best Adapted Screenplay. We have American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. The big hubbub about this category for the Oscars this year is why is Barbie in Best Adapted Screenplay? I get that some of the characters and some of the set design is based on real life toys, but nothing in the story is adapted from anything. Everything in the story is original. Even the Writers Guild placed it in original screenplay for their awards, and so did SAG. So I don't know why it's here. Because Killers of the Flower Moon really should be in the Best Adapted Screenplay, because it was based off of a book, and it has a better screenplay than Barbie. So Barbie really should be in the Best Original Screenplay. For my money, I think Oppenheimer should win this. I think that screenplay is fascinating and unique. It's written in first person, based on the perspective that it's going from. That's probably what it's going to go to. Best Original Screenplay. Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, and Past Lives. I'm hoping this goes to Anatomy of a Fall. I could also see it going to Holdovers or Past Lives. And if it goes to either of those 3, I don't mind at all. But why are Maestro and May December in this list? Maestro's strengths are not in its screenplay. Maestro's strengths are in the cinematography and the acting, in which even then I'm not sure it should be nominated. I finished watching Maestro having been like, yeah, that was fine, but not learning anything about any of the characters or the real people. I just knew that Leonard Bernstein was this conductor and he had difficulties with his sexuality, and that's about it. They didn't explore any of that, so I don't know why that's here. But Anatomy of a Fall, Holdovers, Past Lives, I would love to see any of those 3 win. Going back to Best Picture, we have a pretty dang good lineup here, with one big elephant in the room. So we have American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. Here's the snub. Why is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse not here? Why is Maestro in here over Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? I don't know. Maestro was not one of the best movies of the year. I thought it was fine, but not Best Picture worthy. Other than that, this is a pretty dang good list. I have not seen American Fiction, Poor Things, or Zone of Interest, but I do want to see them. I've heard nothing but great things. Love seeing Anatomy of a Fall here. Love that film. Holdovers is great. Killers of the Flower Moon, again, one of the best of the year. This will most likely go to Oppenheimer, and I hope it goes to Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan should absolutely finally win his Best Director, and he should finally have one of his movies win Best Picture. Overall, I think this is a pretty good year for the Oscars and the nominations that are here. For the most part, I don't really have any issues. So that's pretty much it for the video. More simple, more straightforward discussion, less editing, more rambly type video, I suppose. So thanks for watching. If you could hit the like and subscribe button, that would be great. Okay, bye.